Hello, my friends. Connor Doobie here, and welcome into the B2B Mentors podcast. I have a phenomenal guest for you today to chat careers. I'm super excited. Please, if this stream brings you any value whatsoever, make sure you drop any comments, questions on this. If you're watching this after the fact, feel free to share anything as well. Any additional comments or questions, please make sure you share this stream. And if you want more episodes, we are on all of your favorite podcast platforms. You can find us under B2B Mentors. Please go leave a 5-star review so others can find the show too. With that, my friends, I'm going to bring up the man, the myth, the legend, Orlando Haynes. And man, how complicated is it to run the StreamYard? In the beginning, there's so many moving parts and buttons sometimes, and I know you can sympathize with me at least.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, I appreciate it, Connor. Yeah, it is. Yeah, sometimes when you're a one-man show, you have to split your attention. So you're like, oh my God, put up a comment. Oh my God, let me double screen it, single screen it. But yeah, it's cool. Yeah, I'm so excited to be here, man.
It's like, am I actually streaming right now? Is this thing going out? Like, where the hell's the button to bring my guest up here and all that? But yeah, man, I've been excited. I know we've been talking about doing this for a while, and I'm honored to get to build some relationships with the Sykes team. I love what you guys are doing there, from allowing the team to build their personal brands in the way that they are, and especially in your area of expertise, I'm pumped to talk about some deep career tips, which in the dynamic world now, I bet you have even updated information from your books, strategies we can take advantage of. But before we dive into that, please brag about yourself. Give us 60 seconds of like, just brag about yourself and what you've been up to over the years and what led you to where you're at in your life today.
Yeah, I appreciate it. So Orlando Haynes, as Connor said, I've been in talent acquisition and recruiting for about 18 years now. Grow my career in different positions, both on the staffing and recruiting side and now in corporate house. And that term recruiter just got fancier when you go in-house with a company to talent acquisition. But there is some difference in that. But I had a great career. I've been in it for a while. I say it's like the mafia. Hard to get out, right? Every time I tried to get out, it pulled me back in.
Someone tries to kill you?
Exactly. They're threatened. They putting fish in my bed, so and horse heads and all kinds of things. Yeah, so it's been exciting. I worked for some large companies in the past, notable prior to Sykes, where I'm at now as a talent acquisition manager. Prior to this, I was with Amazon. I've been blessed to write 3 books. Well, I wrote 2 and then published 3. So I do a lot of collaborative efforts where I'm able to bring talent together and put their ideas and their vision in a book and publish it. So, and I do speaking, I do live, LinkedIn Live as well. I'll be coming back this year as well to do that. But speaking at schools, different platforms, HR associations. So it's been exciting, man. So I had my own business called under my name, OrlandoHaynes.com, where I coach and develop mid-level professionals as well to kind of really propel their brand, and we'll probably get into that as well to assist in their job search.
What led you down the talent? I mean, you're not just like a talent acquisition employee. You've done you've written books all around in this area. You've done a lot to build your personal brand over the years. What led you down that career path to begin with? Where did you really see yourself before talent acquisition?
Yeah, great question. So I was actually way back. I was going to school to be an electrical engineer, and that field was very saturated way back in the days in the 90s. So I'm dating myself. And I was a candidate with a staffing firm where they showed me the process of how they court their candidates to a job, which I ultimately did not get, but it was a well-paying job at the time. But I remembered that experience. And then lo and behold, 6 months later after that, they called me back for an internal opportunity, and the company was Aerotech staffing agency. So, and this is about 2003 is when I started. So I remembered that. They remembered me. It was funny. I actually re-interviewed with the person or the recruiter who, put me through the process when I was a candidate. And then from there, it just a fish to water. It just took, because what most folks don't know, when you're a recruiter, you develop this strong business acumen. So you learn about contracts, negotiations, presentations, how to, sell yourself, sell an opportunity to a candidate and to an employer, because you had to hunt for the opportunities and then go hunt for the people to fill them. So you get a strong business acumen, and it transitions when you go into the corporate side. There's a big difference. So yeah, it's just been a love of mine for these past 18 years. I can't see doing anything else in that, expanding it and scaling it. But it'll always be, being able to help people.
Yeah, it's amazing to see someone just go all in on an area, right? Just super focused on that. So that's incredible. And you can tell how passionate you are with your podcast, all the content you put out. It's probably like the most important component of a business, right? If you don't have the right talent, you could have the best product, best service in the world, but your talent acquisition sucks, your company's going to suck. And so what do you see, just studying this, what are the biggest mistakes businesses are making in talent acquisition?
So let's see. Yeah, that's a great question. So I would say, and let me make a distinction from when we say talent acquisition, obviously it's an in-house recruiting team. I think what companies need to value is that team, right? They're the frontline folks that are seeking top talent to bring into your company. So, and they should be looking for folks that are not a culture fit.
Oh, we lost Orlando. Hang tight, guys. Might have lost his service here. Let's see what's going on. Stick around, guys. I guarantee he will jump right back in here. Let me go ahead and shoot him a text. The beauty of doing this on the internet. Let's see here. There we go.
Hey, sorry about that, folks.
You just reminded me. I need to get a like a banner, like we're experiencing technical difficulties, like a cat, like hang on or whatever, like they used to do in the days of TV.
Right. So that was planned. That was planned, folks. So that was just a test. Yeah.
Dramatic effect.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But we're good. So yeah. So what I was saying is, with companies need to really value their talent acquisition team, and pour as much information, or should I say, much time and effort and resources into them, so they can bring the top talent that they're looking for, and really understand that it's not just a matter of posting, interviewing, screening, and then hiring. Right? There's time and place, but the crucial thing is that we want to look for people that are a value add or a cultural add to the company, not just a cultural fit. Because if we want progression, diversity, innovation within the organization, it's your recruiting team that's really looking for those folks, and they have to be completely bought into the organization and the culture of the organization that they're working for. And I also think that the talent acquisition team needs to be married to HR, in the sense that there's true partnerships with assisting in internal culture, not just finding people, but initiate different ideas and programs and how they can partner to improve the internal culture overall. So they're not just the order takers of the organization. Hey, I need people here in IT and in marketing and the front line and call center. Is what else can that talent acquisition team do? Like, really give them the opportunity and the autonomy to be more entrepreneurial in thought, and then execution, and see what works overall to bring in those strong folks.
I want to touch on that, the nuances and differences between talent acquisition and HR. In a lot of companies, they're probably just kind of all in one in a lot of cases. A couple of things came to mind too, like culture is the big thing everyone talks about now, right? And has talked about, company culture. Do these people fit into our company culture? How do you recommend talent acquisition, HR, CEOs, leadership teams? How do they effectively go through that process? What tools do you recommend that they use as to also, get away from like biases, unconscious biases in hiring is definitely a major one. And it doesn't seem like there's any clear path there, because you can put people through all the, fucking personality tests and all of those tools, and then you bring them into their company, and then they end up being a bad culture fit at the end of the day a lot of the time. So, what do you recommend there?
So I would first start with, right, the CEO, the executive team. They have to be bought in that it's not just, I'll say, from like diversity and inclusion hires, those folks that are being put in those positions, especially since the George Floyd incident. When that happened, there was like 50 to 60 posts for diversity and inclusion. Like everyone is now getting on a bandwagon. Hey, we need to hire these folks. My fear is, or my follow up to those companies who are doing that is, are you doing it as a token hire, or will you allow those diversity and inclusion people to truly impact change in the organization? Or you're checking a box to say, okay, we're on board, we feel your pain, community of African Americans, and we're going to hire them. But it has to go.
Constant virtue signaling, virtue signaling from big companies, and like they're just placing people, but they're not impacting the actual culture. Yeah.
So that's the next follow up. We need to see change, right? But it has to be real buy-in from the top. If there's not, it'll just be, people plugged in place, and then it'll just go the same will happen. This is how we always done it. Will permeate throughout the organization. But you really have to find, it's like from the very basics, not even thinking high technology and AI and anything like that. Just, you need to straight shoot your people and like, if you're not bought in, I need to make change, because this is impacting, again, innovation, top dollar, bottom dollar of the organization. And it will be a constant rotation. So there needs to be some serious one-on-one conversations that are happening with their people. Pull back the curtain. Obviously, you need HR in there, because you don't want someone to say something off color and it goes left real quick. But yeah, man, it's tough, because if the top doesn't take a hold of it and truly buy into it, and it's you would think in 2021 it's so stupid. The diversity thing is, and let me explain that so you don't get hit and I don't get hit with a bunch of stuff after that. We shouldn't be excluding groups based on skin color, right? It's systemic racism and all that stuff. But if you really want effective change, you need change in face, you need change in ethnicity, you need change in idea and conversation. It just needs to be an all around melting pot of different voices and faces in your organization to really make it move.
How do people make that change? Is there, because then to play devil's advocate, then there's the challenges on the opposite end of the spectrum. Is like, okay, I'm going to hire this person of color so I can virtue signal we're a diverse culture, but then there's still that one candidate that I would have hired otherwise that may not be, and they actually were a better placement for that role. They would have had a better impact. So where do you find it's such a gray area and such a challenging, complicated scenario. It's like the best people are out there, no matter what color they are, right, race or ethnicity or anything. But then it's like, where do you find that balance between virtue signaling to show you have diverse culture, but also still getting in top talent?
Right. So I wish this was my idea, but I heard it from someone on a podcast or something, is that if you're looking for top talent, like you said, regardless of color, but you still want diversity, you need to go to those colleges that are specialized in the field that the organization, whatever they're selling, a widget, whatever new widget it is. If it's marketing, advertisement, whatever it is, go to those schools. You can go to those HBCUs and find a diverse group of folks, but making sure, yes, they're qualified. Just don't hire them just because, again, you're checking off a box, but can they do the job? And trust me, there's talent across the board and across all races. But it's even more than that, because you're hiring them. And this is the way I look at when I hire folks. I don't hire them just for the position they fill in. I got to see 2, 3, 4 years down the line, can they fill the next role? Right. So there's always a thought process of who's coming up behind me to take my place so I can move up. And that's how I think organizations, if they were to look at that, like, okay, this person's talented. And yes, in essence, they're checking off the diversity box, but their talent is, does the talent meet the goal? But go to those different schools and just hold an event there and hold conversations and give challenges, like the top schools, the Ivy League schools, like Harvard and things. Like you'll have companies, startup companies or companies that's been around maybe the 5-year mark, that'll come in and pose a problem to those students. And the students have to break up in groups and truly come up with a problem to solve that company's issue, or come up with a solution rather to solve that company's issue. And if it's a solid executed plan, that company will actually adopt the plan. And then those students who come up with it are now given internships or an opportunity to work there full time. So I think organizations should go out and kind of mimic some of the Ivy League challenges to these schools to just test the talent and not just see it. Okay, we met the goal, but they're in lesser roles than their white counterpart. They're paid less or anything like that. Just go out and seek, because we may not know of you. Seek us. You know of the schools. Right, the schools are very, very well populated and documented. Go out to them and seek the talent.
And there's communities too. There's probably career communities that are specialized in STEM or whatever. I that's a great point. And I haven't even. It's like companies need to do a better job of prospecting for those opportunities, rather than what most companies do is they wait for all the flood of resumes to come in and say, person's qualified, person's not qualified, person's qualified, and they're not recruiting from these top schools that have the diversity that's an absolute necessity in your organization. I think that's a great point. That brings me to another idea too. Like, is it better served? What are the nuances? Is it better served to, as you're growing, let's say you're a mid-market company and you're in that fine line of having a full-on talent acquisition team and HR team versus outsourcing it to a recruitment company? What's your perspective on that?
I think it's a case-by-case scenario per organization, because they just may not have the manpower, depending on the volume of hiring they're doing, and that team just may be overwhelmed. But the very nuances, cost effective is more cost effective, right, to keep it in house, because as a corporate recruiter, you understand the true culture of the organization, or you should, at least they should. You should know that. Personalities of managers and teams and everything that the organizational does from a community standpoint. So you're able to speak to that with more passion and answer the question, that's get posed to us is, why are you still there? Why are you there? Why did you join the company? And it's more genuine. And the reason why I can speak to both sides, because like I said earlier, I've been on both sides, where as a staffing recruiter, you have to learn the culture of 5 or 6 different companies, but you can only go so deep, right? Your goal is to expand that relationship into different departments so you can service those different departments in those companies, but you can only go so deep to really understand the nuances of the organizations. Plus, as a corporate recruiter, if you position yourself right, understanding the business aspect of it, you have more sway into, saying, hey, I think this person be a good fit. Yes, they may not have the exact degree you want, but I spoke with them. This is someone I think will be a good value, and culture add to the organization. And then we can sway the managers a little bit to, hey, take a shot. This person has some things that I think it will be a benefit. And, staffing recruiters can do that too. But it's, again, you can't go as deep in your relationships when you're servicing multiple clients. But it's just a difference. I wouldn't say one is better than the other. It's just there's some serious differences.
But internally, they're much more in tune with the bigger business picture, the culture, the challenges, the gaps and everything versus an outsider who's not in the day to day.
Correct.
So you would almost indefinitely say go in house. It's going to be cheaper and it's going to serve you better
Oh.
in building the teams. Would you start with HR or would you start with talent acquisition if you're building one department over another?
I would say start with HR because HR is not just policy and procedures, right? They're legal. Believe it or not, right? There's a strong legal component that keeps the company out of harm's way when it comes to EOC and unemployment and all these regulations. So keep the company safe first by making sure you have a strong HR team in place, making sure they're knowledgeable, and from that, you birth out the talent acquisition team as well. But in some companies, it's all in one, and there's some that it's separate. But the partnership, either way, needs to be like this. Right? It needs to be a marriage between those two departments to affect any kind of incoming of top talent, making the candidate experience better, and then the culture. Right? Don't just lean it to one department in an organization. That is a company-wide initiative that needs to be embraced by all department and department heads.
Shifting gears a little bit, Orlando, let's shift into the career tip side of things, because I know there is a lot of job seekers out there right now, and the volatility, people are getting still laid off left and right. Last year was a hurricane. So and this year is not going to be any different. I can guarantee it may even be worse. So what are in the modern environment, and number one, in the modern environment, and ideally in a future-proofed sense, what are your top tips for job seekers?
Yep, great question, Connor. So I would tell you, one is become a content creator. So, and what I mean by that, you don't have to so much do videos, but if you're a person who's not afraid to get on camera and share tips on whatever industry you're in, again, if you're marketing, engineering, a project manager, I would tell you to start creating content and utilizing the LinkedIn platform because you have 650 million users. Not all are active, but about 85 to 90% of employers use LinkedIn Recruiter to source candidates. So if you become a content creator and sharing weekly tips of ensuring your experience and education, or should I say knowledge in the industry, and then some tricks I would do on top of that is tag some of the companies in that information that you're throwing onto LinkedIn if it's in video form that you want to partner with or land a job with. At some point, people will start to see your content, whether it be an HR manager, a recruiter, a hiring manager, and they'll start to follow you. One thing I heard, and we were talking about this new platform, Clubhouse, is one tip that was given was go onto the company page and start to follow their content and be engaged in it. You have to be engaged for your profile to kind of take a rocket ship catapult. This way people know who you are. If people don't know who you are, it's hard for you to get seen in this sea of employment talent. Especially, I take the Gary Vee method. It's just pump out content, quality versus quantity. So that's one, do that. And if you want to do it in written form, do it in written form. Do the same thing. Tag a few people so they see your content, but also engage on theirs. When I say theirs, again, strictly directly to an employer, and let your knowledge be expressed on that platform. That may catch the eye of someone. They'll be like, hey, this is exactly what we're looking for. You never know what can happen from that, but I would guarantee that you have to stand out. You can't just post and hope that it will come. That method is, if not died, is dying very quickly.
Or follow, similar to how a top recruiter should be out prospecting. As if you're in a sales role, you're out prospecting for new business. If you're in talent acquisition, you're prospecting for top talent. If you're a job seeker, what you're suggesting is using that prospecting methods, building your personal brand, marketing yourself like a business.
That's it. You have to start thinking like an entity, right? Because every company has a strategy. They know their avatar, they know their area, their marketing, what they're going to spend to attract a client, what that cost will be to convert them, the whole thing. So we have to adopt that business strategy mindset and apply it to our personal, life and career search, and you'll see results from that because, again, you're becoming more strategic instead of just casting a net, right? You're doing it with intent, but then there's still that piece where you have to stand out. And I tell you, a lot of my peers are saying just create content on LinkedIn. It's the fastest way to get noticed. The reason why we can continue to say it, because a large part of the population won't do it even in a written form or video form. So you have to do it.
100%. Or taking the extra step of you can find any company and find assistants, sales directors, hundreds of people in the companies who they may not be the hiring manager, but they could be a great foot in the door through that relationship. Do you think people should still pursue the traditional, I'm going to go to whatever, God, I haven't done an application in years or anything, but like a job search.
Job fair? A career fair?
No, like a job search platform. Just anything where a company is putting a call out to submit resumes. Should people continue that practice, or should they take this approach first and actually just go for the business and create the opportunity, whether that company's promoting they're actively hiring or not?
So I would say do both because you still need to get in the system of that company and just follow normal procedure. So trying to be a ultimate maverick and go around the process, where right now everyone's in a gatekeeper mode, as well as, even though they're hiring, there's a gatekeeper mode is, hey, everything is digital now. Go to our platform and apply, or go to our website and apply. So you want to do that. So by the time you break through to someone, they can tap the recruiter or HR person and be like, yep, they're in our system. They did apply 2 weeks ago. You've been sharing content or whatever, how you got connected through your network, through a warm network, not a cold network. And I can go into that, that they can easily find you in the system and you can progress through the interview process. So yeah, I would say do both for sure.
We're hiring a pretty key role in our company right now. Total client facing role, probably be managing, 30 to 50 clients in that position. And it has been scary going through this because we've gotten messages on LinkedIn from people who we've never even talked to over the phone. And they're like, hey, I saw your job ad, just so you know, my minimum is 6 figures to get started and I want XYZ compensation. Never had a damn conversation with these people. So
delete.
It's like, it seems like common sense, but on top of stuff like not doing that shit, what else do you suggest to not do as a candidate? What are some best practices as you're going through the stages of that process? Once you've identified the opportunities there and you're at like the beginning stages of that pipeline.
Right. So I would first tell those folks to understand that this is still a professional process, right? So don't get too comfortable too quick when you approach someone for an opportunity. Never, like you just said, Connor, don't lead with your salary and expectations, because I'm gonna be like, who are you? I'll read it and be like, you really got some nerve, and then delete, right? I'll never respond to that. So make sure you understand that, again, it's still a professional process, but approach it, be unique in your messaging. Just be unique in your messaging, whether it's something real quick like, hey, Connor, saw the post. Hey, you probably got 1,000 of these, but if you got time, give me 2 minutes. If anything I can do to show you, let me know. Send me a task to execute on, and I'll do it. Kind of be a trial run for me. Like, I've never got approached that way to get an opportunity throughout my career. So now that puts the emphasis on you to be like, okay, all right, dig up XYZ. Do this. Tell me what the top 3 companies in this area are, their revenue growth or strategy. Show me a strategy how you would break into this. Give me that in 2 weeks. And if somebody comes back, say, Connor, I got it. All right, let's jump on a Zoom call. Let's do it. Let's see what you got. Bypass the whole process, but they showed some kind of unique initiative that piqued your interest. So I don't know if how many listeners, job seekers and listeners that may, pop up in your inbox, but yeah, don't lead from a desperation. And I see a lot of job seekers do that. They'll kind of approach it from a desperate situation, and I get it. Trust me, I get it. The pandemic has hit hard, but you're still in a professional process to where it is still a business first. and no one can. It's not a charity where you can just open doors and accept everyone. Unfortunately, it doesn't work that way
Right.
when it comes to
Right.
business.
Yeah. And from a physical world, I mean, energy out is energy in. If you can
Mm-hmm.
put it in your mind, people it blows my mind. If somebody came after me in this position, was like, hey, let me do some work for you for 3 days for free. And
Mm-hmm.
let me just show you what I'm made of. I'm super passionate about your company. I looked at all your, I'm public facing. I have hundreds of videos, hundreds of podcasts. I've spoken, been places. Almost nobody we've interviewed through this
Mm-hmm.
process. We've been, it's been a while. We've been on this for this role. Nobody's taken the extra step to even comment on anything, and I am out there a lot.
Yeah.
Or just offering to work for free. Like, I do it for my clients. I go to work for free for clients that I am super excited about and I want to work with. I'm like, listen, I'll do some free work for you. Let me show you what I'm made of. And then turns into a 50, 100K deal, 20K deal, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
the opportunity is there, but you guys got to get creative about it. Like Orlando, in this, you guys are $1 billion company, and these strategies are legitimate.
Right. So job seekers have to figure out what their unique proposition is, right? Their unique selling proposition. Lead with your talent and your innovation and your thought versus just the resume. The resume that's the low bar of entry, right? That's the basic bar of entry just to show what you've done. But if you want to capture folks like Connor's attention and things like that, know what your target is, right? This Connor's and I'm speaking to the audience, is a content creator, entrepreneur. That's where you need to be from a job seeker standpoint, in that mindset. Okay, what would this person do? Research his content, put something unique together, pitch it back in a video, but you just may get a call back just because you put the effort for it. It may be crap, but because you did something different, it may catch the eye of his team and get you a phone call and on the phone with this man. You never know what can go from there, but don't lead the traditional way and thinking that's going to work all the time, because again, it's not.
And that stuff would work with you too. Like, if someone
Mm-hmm.
sees this and they send you a video on LinkedIn, like, man, I'm so excited about what Sykes is doing. I'd love to. I saw you have these open roles. Someone when I interviewed Ian, we got a bunch of messages asking if he was hiring in the marketing department, and none of them took that extra step to just stand out. They just came to me and was like, "Can you introduce me to Ian?" I'm like, "No, go."
Go direct.
Go direct and take a little initiative. So this stuff is awesome, man. I'm so hoping in a positive way people can take action on this information. You've got 3 books. You're constantly putting information out there. People have to follow you and consume what you're doing, because I'm sure you have days and days of strategies like this. But with that, in winding down, anything else that's top of mind for you, doesn't matter what it is, that you want to highlight, share, that could be actionable before we wrap up here?
Yeah, so I would tell job seekers that, when you're looking for your next opportunity, understand that employers, we want to hire people. It's not that we don't. But now we're in a position to where we want to, like anytime, no matter when the cycle is of hiring for a company, we want top talent. So, but now again, because the sea of job seekers has gotten so big, you have to be able to poke your head out, and that's really going to catch the attention of organizations nowadays. So, I implore you, I plead with you, I'm on your side, Connor's on your side, is to do something different, because if you're doing the same thing, millions of job seekers are doing the same thing. It'll be tougher for you. Utilize your network, not just when you need something, but keep it warm. Here's a quick tip, and Connor can wrap it up. Start your own organization. What I mean by, team or community. So say you're a project manager, you're looking for a job. Call a recruiter. Say, hey, I'm gonna put together this event where you can educate us on the world of recruiting. You become a resource to that person, and find out, hey, if I can't get hired as a project manager within my community, I know HR people, I know salespeople, I know marketing people, I know, Let me help you fill some of your other jobs. Let me be a resource. Guarantee that recruiter, from a staffing agency standpoint, is especially because they get paid on top of that, is they will be like, hey, Connor is fed me like 3 different people. I got to find this guy an opportunity. I just have to, right? He's fed me 3 people, consistent. I've been speaking on his platform, sharing stuff, and it's crazy. My pipeline is crazy with top talent. I got to find this guy something. You'll get recruiters on your side as a partner versus it just be a transaction.
Gold right there. Like major golden nugget. That is some bomb information. That's genius. I love that approach. I didn't even consider that, but it goes back to that give a little to get a lot in the future. Like nothing's instantaneous. That's genius, man. Thank you so much. That's been incredible. What is the best way for people to find you, follow you, and get into contact with you? And don't forget to shout out your podcast as well.
Yep. So you can find me right here on LinkedIn, where I have the most activity, or you can follow me on my website. Connect with me there. It's orlandohaynes.com, or you can email me directly it's info@orlandohaynes.com. Like I said, I do career coaching aside from my day job of talent acquisition. So right there, you see it scrolling. But other than that, yeah, just if you want immediate response, LinkedIn. LinkedIn is the platform to reach me.
Send a video message. Yeah. Can't thank you enough, man. I've been so excited to do this, and you brought all the golden nuggets. So thank you again. Stick around for one quick second here while we wrap up. And for the rest of you watching this after the fact, and all of you that have stuck around, really, really appreciate you. Thank you so much. Do not forget to go subscribe. We're on all your favorite podcast apps. We have some more legendary guests coming for you this year. Please leave a 5-star review on iTunes so others can find the show too. And with that, my friends, we will see you over on the other side.